Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Banyasharala of the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Also salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Banyasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. And today I'll be coming out with a lesson, and it's on this article. It's about a day old, but nonetheless, it's pretty much about, Babylon is trying to avoid a war, but we all know, for those of us that are paying attention to what's going on, Babylon is trying to avoid a war while yet stoking the flames of a war. That ambiguous, or that ambiguity that Babylon America is trying to be in. But now that this war is a lot more imminent now. Now that you have people such as Anthony Blinken, if I'm not mistaken, trying to get messages over, and Babylon America trying to get messages over to Iran to cease fire and or to de-escalate. When it was the whole time, this is really what they wanted, but now it's not looking like what they wanted. But that's neither here nor there. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. It says U.S. passes message to Iran not to escalate at a critical moment for the Middle East. Well, let's continue. It ain't no such thing as the Middle East. It's just the East. Let's continue. It says the United States has been Salakia, urging other countries through diplomatic channels to tell Iran that escalation in the Middle East is not their interest. It's not in their interest. A State Department spokesperson said, Salakia, on Monday, at what Secretary of State Anthony Blinken called a critical moment for the region. Salakia, continuing. Again, it says the United States has been urging other countries through diplomatic channels to tell Iran that escalation in the East is not in their interest. A State Department spokesperson said on Monday at what Secretary of State Anthony Blinken called a critical moment for the region. It says Blinken said Washington was engaged in intense diplomacy pretty much around the clock to help calm tensions amid fears Iran is preparing a retaliatory strike against Israel. Well, when it comes down to it, you struck first. Those Edomites struck those Iranians first. So of course it's going to be a natural reaction. Let's continue. It says all parties must refrain from escalate. All parties must refrain. I'm reading too fast. Let me start over. It says all parties must refrain from escalation, Blinken said during a signing ceremony with his Australian counterpart in Washington. Yeah, see, they trying to. Let's continue. It says all parties must take. See, all of a sudden, everybody need to step down now. When Soleimani got killed, the Iranians, they say, hey, we're going to retaliate. But, but it wasn't no all-out war. And every time Iran has retaliated so far, or has said that they will retaliate, they were struck first by Esau, by the Edomites, by them 48 fakers. Let's continue. But now all of a sudden, it's all parties got to take steps to ease tension. That ain't gonna work. This is not what the Lord wants. He wants controversy and escalation in the world, because we're in a time of war, and that's prophecy. But let's continue. It says all parties must take steps to ease tensions. It says escalation is not in anyone's interest. No, this is just not in Babylon America's interest, and it's really not in Israel's interest either, believe it or not. They just think it is, cause your boy not a Jew is trying to avoid some things. Well, let's continue. That's why he's trying to get this war to keep going. But let's continue. This is all parties must take steps to ease tensions. Escalation is not in anyone's interests. It will only lead to more conflict, more violence, more insecurity. Of course, when you effing with people, that's what's supposed to happen. Let's continue. It says Hamas leader Ismail Salakia Haniyeh was assassinated in the Iranian capital of Tehran last week, an attack that drew threats of revenge on Israel and fueled further concern that the conflict in Gaza was turning into a wider war, because it ain't the Middle East, it's just the East. Let's just continue. It says Iran has blamed Israel and said it will punish it. Israeli officials have not claimed responsibility for the killing. Of course they haven't. Iran backs Hamas, which is at war with Israel in Gaza, and also the Lebanese group Hezbollah, whose senior military commander, Fard Shukr, however you say his name, was killed in an Israeli strike in Beirut last week. And the thing about it, what they are not telling people, if you look at alternative news media, meaning not the popular propaganda crap, Hamas and Hezbollah, they are whooping the sugar honey iced tea out of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Federation. They is getting their behinds kicked over there in them places. Cause them jokers, they hiding all out in all kind of broken down, bombed out buildings. I'm talking about these guys over there. They taking tanks down. They dropping them Edomites over there, and that's just the truth. But you have to watch the real news in order to see that, because you're not gonna see that on mainstream media. What you're gonna get is some cardboard, paper, flavorless crap that they want to give you as news. But let's continue. It says U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were briefed by their national security team on the situation in the East, including threats posed by Iran and its proxies to Israel and U.S. service members, the White House said. It says they were also briefed about an attack on Iraq's Al-Assad air base on Monday and discussed the U.S. response. It says during that briefing, Biden and Harris, I really hate saying their names, were told by their national security team that it is still unclear when Iran and Hezbollah are likely. See, now it's Iran and Hezbollah. When they struck Iran, they didn't strike Hezbollah, they didn't strike Hamas, they struck Iran. But let's continue. It says it is still unclear when Iran and Hezbollah are likely to launch an attack against Israel and the specifics of such an attack, according to a U.S. official. Yeah, of course you're not going to know. The fuck? Let's continue. Salakia. I didn't mean to say that out loud. It says at least 5 U.S. personnel were wounded in a rocket strike. U.S. told, yeah, I guess. I don't believe that. But let's continue. It said it was unclear whether the attack was linked to threats by Iran to retaliate over Haniyeh's killing, in which the U.S. said it had no involvement. Lies, but let's continue. Now, well, Israel probably did. Them fake ass Edomites over there probably did do that. They probably killed that man. But you notice how America's kind of trying to push them off, like, trying to not be so attached to them. But hey, let's continue. The scripture's gonna speak after a while. When it comes down. It says Biden and Harris also were updated on U.S. efforts to support Israel militarily if it's attacked, and diplomatic efforts to de-escalate regional tension and reach a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza. Yeah, we're still talking about that. Let's continue. It says Blinken earlier on Monday spoke with Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman, okay, Al Thani, and that's a long ass name. And Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelhadi. Okay, they all sound the same to me. Let's continue. And this is one of the points of engagement that we have had is to urge countries to pass messages to Iran. Of course, you gotta urging countries to pass messages to Iran because Iran ain't dealing with Babylon because of what they did what Babylon America did to Soleimani when Trump was in office. And he killed Soleimani. I forget his first name, but I think he was a general or a commander or something like that. He was high up in their army, you know. So now Babylon America has to go through other channels and other we'll say countries and smaller nations to try and get a message over to Iran to be cool, because they know Iran is a military state and Iran bot throwing them hands. I don't know what the flying flip phone is up with Esau and provoking people, but let's continue. This is one of the points of engagement that we have had is to urge countries to pass messages to Iran and urge countries to make clear to Iran that it is very much not in their interest to escalate this conflict. That it is very much not in their interest to launch another attack on Israel, said the State Department. You see how Babylon America, the American Edomites are all in the way, talking about it ain't in our best interest. Well, the Lord don't give a flying flip on what's in your interest, Esau. It's finna be a war, and your ass gonna be in it fighting it. Let's continue. It says Miller, speaking at a press briefing, did not say definitely whether or not Washington's messages have been disseminated to Iran or through which channel. Yeah, okay. Iran ain't listening. It's either what it is. It says, I would expect that some of them would pass the messages along and impress that point upon the government of Iran. Yeah. We don't want war. We don't want war. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's basically like that, Salakia. That's basically what they did. You hitting somebody, you fighting somebody that's really not messing with you. But if you do that enough, they're going to fight back. And you ain't going to really be able to say nothing about it or stop it. Because they done took 3 hits. Soleimani done got killed. The Haniyeh guy got killed, and somebody else done got killed. So they really ain't trying to hit nothing. But let's continue. It says Blinken, in his remarks, also called for parties to break this cycle of violence. Oh wow, yeah, okay. It says and ceasefire and agree to a ceasefire in the Gaza conflict that those 48 fakers started. Despite the killing of Haniyeh, who was a key figure in the negotiations between Israel and Hamas. You killed the one guy that probably could have somewhat calmed it down, because this is really the works and the doings of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So it's really going to ultimately happen. But continuing, I'm going to read this. It says, Blinken in his remarks also called for parties to break this cycle of violence. Okay, real quick. Where is it? Nah, that ain't it. Just based off this little one excerpt, this little piece right here in this argument says Blinken in his remarks also called for parties to break this cycle of violence. This is Isaiah 33:1. It says, woe to thee that spoilest and was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. When thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So when it comes down to it, Blinken saying, "Oh no, we don't want no war," but according to the scriptures here, they want it. Blinken, they want everybody to break this cycle of violence. Esau is the violent man in the earth. Now all of a sudden, we got to break this cycle of violence. Well, guess what? It says, "Woe to thee that was not spoiled." So it's like it says, "Woe to thee that spoilest and was not spoiled." So woe is destruction. And that's what's happening to Babylon America. Babylon America was not spoiled by any of these other countries. Even though Babylon America was spoiling these other countries, messing up their economies, taking their resources and stuff like that. And it says, "And dealeth treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee." So this place is dealt treacherously with other countries when these other countries, such as Iran, did not deal treacherously with America. So now that all of a sudden, when Esau is trying to cease now from spoiling and cease from dealing treacherously, guess what? These other nations are going to rise up and spoil this place and deal treacherously with Esau, with this place, with Babylon America, and just with Esau in general. Because Esau was the one that was spoiling and was not spoiled. That was being treacherous, and nobody was being treacherous against him. So now these things are now coming to pass, and they're happening. That's why you have Esau all of a sudden now. He was what the terminology is, he was Billy Badass, but now all of a sudden they got their Secretary of State and all this stuff, Blinken, whatever, or whatever the heck he is, Secretary of Defense. It don't matter. I don't care nothing about these Edomites and they pseudo positions that they have. But nonetheless, back to this article, it says Blinken in his remarks called for parties to break this cycle of violence. See, now all of a sudden it's a calling to stop the cycle now. Well, guess what? According to Isaiah 33 and 1, that's going to happen. But let's continue. Blinken in his remarks also called for parties to break this cycle of violence and agreed to a ceasefire in Gaza, despite the killing of Haniyeh, who was a key figure in negotiations between Israel and Hamas. So they just killed the one person that could have gotten some headway or something reached, but they killed him. That's how Esau rolled. Let's continue. It says what it comes down to really is all parties finding ways to come to an agreement. See, all of a sudden they want all parties to find a ways to an agreement, not to look for reason to delay or say no. Blinken says, see, that's how Esau rolled, that filibustering, bullshitting and effing off, and they political. But it's too late. The war is stoked. It's the flames of war has gone. The drums of war are beating. And it's going to continue and to not continue and to further intense. Let's continue. It says it is urgent that all parties make the right choices in the hours and days ahead. So yeah, all that's what that is. This is a day old article, but nonetheless, all of a sudden, Babylon America trying to cease fire. All of a sudden, hey, let's stop this. No. This is a war. And this is what the Lord is going to do. This is the third woe, and it is coming to pass before our very eyes. And this is also a terror that's got Esau afraid. Job chapter 18, verse 10. I was going to start at my point, but verse 10. It says, the snare is laid for him in the ground, and they trap for him in the way. So the snare is laid. These Edomites going around thinking that they want a war, thinking that they want some kind of escalation so they can bring in something new. That is a snare that is laid by the Heavenly Father. And guess what? In the ground. And guess what? It's a trap for Esau in the way. It is made and designed for Esau to fall in it. The Lord got Esau in a trick bag. Every trap and every whatever Esau set up, he's going to be the one to fall upon it. He's going to be the one to fall upon his own sword. Then that's a fitting judgment for one so wicked and for one so evil in the earth. Verse 11. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. So terrors is making Esau afraid. You got the chariot showing up. You got all these other nations. You got them, the dollar collapsing. You got nations ditching the dollar. You have nations no longer allying themselves against not against, but with Babylon America, and siding against America with BRICS, because BRICS is anti-Western. It is what it is. Is it wrong? No. As long as you got wicked Mother Hubbards running in the power seat, no, it's not wrong. It's a great stop, and guess what? That's all prophecy. Because why? Because Russia is he's the head. Russia is the bear, the leader to protect all those other nations, and Russia is exactly enough to take down Babylon America. And these are the terrorists that got Esau afraid. That's driving him to his feet on every side, making him scary. That's why you got to do all these different things. Verse 12, it says, his strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. So his strength is going to be hunger bitten, meaning no strength, no power, no ability to stop what is going on and what is happening. And it says, and destruction shall be ready at his side. So destruction and judgment is waiting on Babylon America and Esau, the nation of Edom, because they're the wicked ones in the earth. Or Esau, I should say, is the wicked one in the earth. And destruction is ready. So they will fall short. And the Lord is going to bring their destruction and judgment to Esau. Hell from beneath is moved to meet Esau that's coming, just roughly paraphrasing. So Esau going to catch some hell, man. And in this war, all of a sudden now we want to de-escalate and be cool, and no, that ain't gonna happen. You kill Soleimani, you kill they done killed a handful of people here recently. Almost about 4 people. They done killed them. Now all of a sudden we don't need a region-wide war. Well, that's because you was dealing treacherously, and now these other nations are starting to deal treacherously with them. Let's continue though. You know what? What is it? Job chapter 20, verse 4. It says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth? So this is something that's been set in stone by Yahweh Shemel Shai. This is since the days of old. The point, verse 5, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. So the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite, which is Esau, Edom, is only but for a moment. It's like a little eek, and then it's over with, it's gone. That's what's going to happen to the wicked. But let's continue. So like Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45. It says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purpose, that he has purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So this right here, this verse is denoting or speaking about the 48 fakers, not a Jew, not over there, that's going to draw Babylon America into this war. And that is what is happening. It is slowly happening. That's why you got America, the secretary or whatever, the flying flip phone he is, talking about, hey, everybody need to de-escalate. Everybody just need to be cool. We don't need a regional war or region-wide war, because that's not in the best interest of some of us. But guess what? Though that's happening, the Lord says, therefore hear his counsel that he has taken against Babylon. And what is his counsel? That Babylon America will be drawn into the war, World War III. And this is what? And his purposes that he has purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. So this is the Lord's purpose. This is his will, that Babylon America get drawn into World War III to be destroyed. And it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. And who is the least of the flock? Them 48 fakers over there. They surrounded. They fighting wars on 7 fronts. They can't maintain that. But the 48 fakers is going to draw Babylon America into a war. That's what it says. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So the least of the flock going to draw them out. The least of them Edomites over there. They're going to draw Babylon America into a war. And that's what's going on. And this is also prophecy. Let's continue. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 20. It says, "But I will remove far off from you the northern army," Babylon America's army, "and will drive them into a land barren and desolate." They're going to be fighting in the desert over there. That's what it means by barren and desolate. It's going to be desert, hot, with his face towards the sea, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea. His stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things. So basically, the Lord is going to go over. The Lord is going to draw these nations, especially Babylon America, into a war. And once they over there fighting in that desert, with what it says, with their hinder parts towards the sea, and their utmost towards the sea, they're gonna be fighting in between bodies of water, but they're gonna still be on dry land. And that's where they're gonna be fighting at. And guess what? And it says, "And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up as well," meaning dead bodies. Dead bodies stink when they start to rot and to decompose. That's what's going to happen over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Yahweh Shaphat. That's where the Lord is gathering these armies. And guess what? The Lord dragging Babylon America's armies over there, right on with them too. And guess what? You join America, any form of Babylon American militia force, you ain't coming back no more. So if you got family members and cousins or whatever, they joining up with Esau, it's a wrap. You ain't gonna see them no more. They're gonna be part of the soil over there. But the Lord, this is prophecy. And the Lord says he will remove from far. He's going to remove far off from you the northern army. That's the American army, Babylon America, because we're over here in the north, in the sides of the north. So the Lord is going to draw these nations together, and Babylon America's army is going to get drawn right on in with it. And I believe I did a lesson a while back, well, not a while back, maybe a day or two ago. Those 48 fakers have been trying to get Babylon America to into a war with Iran. They've been trying to do it. Well, it's going to happen according to the will and the purposes of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. My last point. Joel chapter 3, verse 2. "I will also gather the nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land." So the Lord is going to gather these nations, and he's going to plead with them there, i.e. judge them. That's why I say Yahweh Shaphat, his place of judgment. The Heavenly Father is going to judge them there. And guess who guess who hand is going to be issuing the judgment? Yahweh Shai, when he show up, because he's showing up in the east first. And he going to bust them nations up over there. 2nd Esdras chapter 13. Start from the top. The Lord come and wax strong with the thousands of heaven. And they're going to be scared of the motherhood. But they're going to be fighting each other. When they see the Lord, they're going to stop fighting each other to fight the Lord. And that's going to be a horrible loss for all they behind. Because the Lord going to hit them with that, you know what? Let me go on and go to it real quick. There we go. The Lord going to hit him with that voice. that came out of that could come out of his mouth, and then it's gonna burn all of them. Everybody that hears his voice, i.e., fire, concentrated fire, i.e., a laser. That's what the Lord is gonna do, and it don't sound like it's gonna be like a little petit. It's gonna be some deadly sugar honey iced tea when the Lord show up. But yeah, just wanted to make that reference. But yeah, this is gonna continue to happen, no matter how much ambiguity or position of ambiguity. It's like I meant to say ambiguous first, but whatever. Babylon America ain't gonna be able to move in that ambiguity they've been trying to move in for the longest, wanting the war, but stoking the flames of war, but somehow not wanting to be drawn into the war, but still like pushing for the war. That's that gray area Babylon America trying to reside in, but the Lord ain't gonna allow that. It's gonna be clear, defined, black and white. And Babylon America is going to get drawn into a war. And with that, Shalom.